are these people? Who are these people?
All right. Welcome to Angel in the Afternoon, episode 68. My name is Angel Rivera, the star of the show, alongside, I might as well call him my co host at this point, but seriously, though, Alex, thank you for coming back again to join us once again on the show.
Thanks. Good to be here again.
Yeah, so we have several things to talk about today. Kamala Harris finally put out some policy ideas. So we'll
Still not
see.
on our website, right?
I haven't checked yet, but
Because I
but
checked
she.
and it's still not there. So
Oh, okay.
you
I
can
don't know.
pull it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up, but yeah, we're also going to talk about the Trump Musk interview from a few days ago,
Mhm.
and we'll also talk about if we get to it, the entire corporate media, professional left media, in the tanking completely behind Kamala Harris. So
Yeah.
those are some of the things that are on tap for tonight, today, whatever. And let's see here. We got Miss Witchy Perfect in the chat. How are you guys doing tonight? Earl of Laurel. I think that's all for now. But yeah, welcome, everyone. Make sure if you haven't, make sure you give me a like. Please subscribe. All that good stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm debuting my new mic arm. So let me know if there's some issues with the mic or something. I'm too close or I'm too far because I don't. I still have to play with it. So. But yeah, let's get to it. So, and this is something I, didn't mention, but I'm sure everybody saw it because, I made the rounds. Let's see.
Yeah.
Here we go. Bernie Sanders, my former favorite politician, now hated politician of all. So he went on some podcast. I don't know who these people are, but he did. Bernie Sanders admitted he got cheated out of the 2020 elections and acknowledges the DNC's shady fiasco of the 2020 Iowa caucus, urging the establishment to work behind the scenes to authorities win. So he finally admits the
Now
obvious,
he's
which
saying
is,
this.
yep, now he's saying it now. So, yep. So let's hear out Bernie Sanders.
Do you think
Sorry, let me just do that. Here we go.
that Kamala Harris is the best person to run against Donald Trump right now?
Well, she is the person, and
that won't change, probably, huh?
she'll be the Democratic candidate. And I've known Kamala for a number of years. Not best friends, but I've known her. She was in the Senate for a short period. She's very smart, and she's determined. I mean, above and beyond her views on the issues, which I support most of them, not all.
Pause right there.
You got to give credit to somebody.
Which issues do you support? Is it you think she supports Medicare for all or free college, the $15 minimum wage, or do you support her on the genocide in Gaza, the Ukraine war, and the other horrible policies that she's done? Which policies is it, Bernie?
That's a good question because for me, he's just being a good little Democrat here.
But a black woman to move up the ladder, that ain't easy stuff. There's a lot of resistance to that. And she's persistent, she's strong, and I
she's
respect
persistent,
that.
she's strong.
I think she'll be a good candidate. I was interested that Trump apparently backed out of a debate with her on ABC.
Actually, that's not true, Bernie. What he did was he said, "Well, I plan to debate Biden. I didn't plan to debate Kamala." So obviously, he backed out at the time. Now I'm not sure how old this is, but now he's agreed to a debate with Kamala on ABC September 10th.
Yeah.
Which is a Tuesday. Which I intend at least me, I would like to do a reaction to it. So we'll see how that turns out.
I just read a tweet from Nick Cruz on X that it showed that reportedly Trump is hiring Tulsi to give him advice for.
Yeah, I saw that, and
Yeah.
it's actually pretty smart of him because Tulsi was the one who destroyed
As
Kamala
long as
Harris.
Tulsi gives him the right advice.
Yeah, destroys her political career in 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be a good idea. So for at least for Trump, he's excuse me, he's preparing properly. At least unless Tulsi gives him bad advice, but.
Yeah.
But she should definitely basically say, "Look, you see what I did here? This is what you
Yeah.
should do, and that's it. You'll destroy her because she has nothing."
And I also read yesterday that Trump brought back Corey Lewandowski, or whatever you pronounce his last name. So maybe it's a sign that he's, realizing that his attacks towards Kamala aren't working. So maybe he'll give him better strategy.
Maybe my mic is too close. I tried, because Steph says I'm cracking, but all right. Hopefully that's better.
You heard what I said, right?
Kind of. I mean, I was busy
I was
playing
saying
my
that
mic.
Trump, that maybe Trump's realizing that his attacks towards Kamala aren't working, so he brought back Corey Lewandowski. If that's how you pronounce
Yes. Yes, I did see that, which is like, well, he's the one that helped Trump win 2016, so it seems like Trump is going to revert back to 2016 Trump. And if that's the case, that's very bad news for Kamala Harris and Democrats in general, but let's finish off Bernie Sanders here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, I have debated her, as a matter of fact. She's tough.
She's tough. Was there a chance that you were going to get that nominee, or as an independent, can you get then plotted with the Democratic Party and put in?
No.
Was there even a call about it or anything?
No. I ran in 16. I ran against Hillary Clinton, and I ran in 20.
Yeah, I remember, and I felt like you didn't get treated fairly, to be honest with you.
I didn't, and that's what happens when you take on the establishment. So
Yeah.
what happened is we won the first 3 primaries, and then
He didn't do anything. He just like, oh yeah, we did get screwed, but nope, not doing anything about it.
That's why
the establishment got very, very nervous.
Yeah, he's just
and
a cuck to the
there was
party.
a whole lot of
now.
candidates in the Democratic primary. And they said, hey,
Yep, he is. Steph says, at least you remember to mute your mic from last week. Yes, I know. I left my mic muted for the first 15 minutes last week, so in the wrestling stream. But hopefully I sound better now. I'm trying to perfect this arm and see how close I can get and not how close I can get. So let me know if there's any other issues.
they said, hey, it'd be a good idea if you all dropped out, let Joe Biden be the one candidate. People rallied around him.
And do they call? Is there a call that you get, and it's like you're not going to move forward? Is it just like news articles? Like how does the establishment
what happens
work?
is I won the popular vote in Iowa. I won the New Hampshire primary. I won the Nevada primary, and those were the first 3. And then front pages of the New York Times, Democratic establishment very nervous. Bernie Sanders could win the whole. We were doing very well in the polls, and I think behind the scenes, people thought there were like 15 different candidates. And they were splitting up the vote, and that's how I was not necessarily getting over 50%. I was getting more than other people, so I was on the way to victory. And they said, look, Bernie shouldn't be the candidate for a variety of reasons. We don't want him the candidate. Drop out. And then on one day, one or 2 days, a lot of people dropped out. It was Joe Biden and me, and Joe had a lot of support, and all these people came behind him, and that's what happened. Let me also say, having said that, Biden is a friend of mine. I think he has done a very good job over the last 3.5 years.
See, Biden's a friend of mine, and I think he's done a very wonderful job the last 3 years.
And what he also obviously won't bring up is that Obama was the one who took control of who would be the nominee. He made that phone call.
It's a little difficult to hear you, Alex. I don't know whether you're too low or something's going on, but let me.
Can you hear me now?
Let me see something.
The guys in the chat, do I sound fine?
Yeah, it's a little better now, so it should be better. But yeah.
But I was gonna say,
and I'm working very hard.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it was what he obviously won't bring up. It's that Obama made the call to make Joe the nominee. That's what he won't mention.
Yeah, Obama was the one who forced Bernie to drop out, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so that's Bernie Sanders for you. He's He's let's get rid of that for now. Yeah, Bernie pisses me off too. I mean, that's why I just came across that. Let me cover this because he finally admits the truth, which is the Democrats screwed him years after it would matter. Now it doesn't matter. That's why now he admits it. If it mattered, he'd still be like, "Oh no, Democrats, they're all great, they're all fantastic, they're all, you have to vote for them, or else."
Yeah.
So you already did that. Let's see. Here it
I
is.
think the worst thing Bernie ever did during his campaign was, if you remember, he threw a separate child under the bus when she wrote that article about, why Biden's corrupt and everything. Remember when she threw her under the bus and defended Biden? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the worst thing he did in the campaign. That was so bad.
Yeah, it was horrible. So let's see. All right, so this is the Elon Musk Trump interview. These are like some clips, more important ones. So we'll go through this real quick. Let's see. The interview began with Elon Musk highlighting a massive denial of service attack that disrupted the live broadcast and delayed it well past the 8 o'clock broadcast. So apparently there
That's
was.
happened to him a lot when he's hosted, the live events on.
Yeah, it happened with
hello.
him and DeSantis. They had issues. They had software issues too. So,
Hey, what's up, Indy?
hey Indy, thanks for joining us. Give me a like. I need it desperately. But yeah, this is Elon Musk claiming they had a denial of service attack, and that's why they had the software issues and la la la.
All right, hello, everyone. My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers, and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated. We think we've overcome most of that, and so it's now time to proceed. But as this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say, and but I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation, and it's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview. And this is really aimed at kind of open-minded, independent voters who just trying to make up their mind. So you can understand like what is what is it just like to have a conversation. So honored to Donald, great to speak. We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor.
Oh my
we view
God.
that as an honor. And then you do want silencing of certain voices. Usually those are voices that have something to say that are constructive, oftentimes constructive. And so we have to consider it an honor. But congratulations on breaking every record in the book tonight. That's great.
It's tremendous.
Oh God, was that me or that's so boring? Elon Musk explaining the denial of service attack, and I don't know what else he said. I kind of got lost there.
Yeah.
It was just horribly boring. I mean, I
don't know if you were going to bring it up a little later, but what just I shouldn't be surprised by it, but you may have seen it that Kyle Kowinski shared a tweet from what is it, Lincoln Project, where it had Kamala dancing, that the stream wasn't working, all that stuff. It's just
I did see him sharing that tweet, and quite frankly, I'm sure I would have brought it up, but I was like, it's just more cringe every day that passes by. From there, the conversation shifted to a more ominous topic: the ideal location for a sniper. So apparently, they're going to have a conversation here about sniper.
It's like the if you were to pick like what is the favorite what if you
All right, let's go from
I mean
here.
looking at the aerial views, that building would be like the number one spot for a sniper. I mean it's like the if you were to pick like what is the favorite what if you so if the goal is to assassinate, what's your favorite spot? That building, the
You're
roof of
right.
that building would be number one.
That would have been the spot.
It's like you can ask for a better
No,
location. It's like number
no, that
one.
would have been the spot.
No.
I mean looking at the aerial views, that building would be like the number.
Yeah, so that's that. So Donald Trump is, and I listened to a lot of this live, and I almost went to sleep. I mean, it was really boring, surprising for Trump, but this was as bad. I'm not sure it was Elon Musk who made it boring, or it was just Trump. But Musk praised Trump for his response to the assassination attempt, noting instead of retreating, Trump continued to fight with a defiant spirit. So this sounds like just straight up ass kissing here. But let's watch
Were inspiring. Um,
or
you
listen.
instead of shying away from things, instead of ducking down, um, you were pumping your fist in the air and saying fight, fight, fight. And I think that's, I mean, the president of the United States represents America, and I think that is America. That is strength under fire, and
Exactly what it
so
is, Steph.
that's
Two billionaires blowing each other.
part of the reason why I was excited to endorse you as the president of the United States for having another term here
Oh,
is that was just incredibly inspiring. But I mean, what was it like for you?
Not pleasant.
not
I
pleasant.
said there was blood. I had
Being
more
shot is
blood.
not
I didn't
much
know
fun.
I didn't know I had that much blood. The doctors later told me that the ear is a place that is a very bloody
I want
place.
to turn up the
If
volume
you're
of
going to
that.
get hit.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so
But
low.
it was probably the best alternative you
It's the
could
highest
even
I can
think
get
about
it.
because it went at the right angle, and it was a hard hit. It was very.
Maybe Trump was low
I guess you
energy
would say
that day.
surreal, but it wasn't surreal. I was telling somebody it's like
Come
this,
on.
like a lot less than this, where you feel it's a surreal situation. And I never felt that way. I knew immediately that it was a bullet. I knew immediately that it was at the ear,
Yeah.
and because it hit very hard, but hit the ear. And I also heard people shout, "Bullets, bullets!" Get down, because I moved down pretty nicely, pretty quickly, and we had bullets flying right over my head after I went down. So I'm glad I went down. The bigger miracle was that I was looking in the exact direction of the shooter, and so it hit me at an angle that was far less destructive than any other angle. So that was the miracle. That was
Yeah.
for those
Split
people that
second.
don't believe in God. I think we got to all start thinking about that. You have to. I'm a believer now. I'm more of a believer, I think, and a lot of people have said that to me. A lot of great people have said that to me, actually. But it was amazing that I happened to be turned just at that perfect
Yeah.
angle, and all because I put down a chart on immigration that showed that the numbers were so great. I love
Hey,
that
Jeff,
chart even
thank
more
you
now.
for
it's a
joining.
sign. Maybe
Yeah.
that's a sign.
Shut
It's an
up.
immigration sign.
You
This is
highlighted
super
a
boring. I
serious
don't know if
issue.
you guys think it's boring, but holy crap.
It is.
I
But
kind of
I
lost
thought,
track there.
well,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I thought the most ridiculous part of the stream meeting or whatever you call it. I don't know if you've heard before, but Trump was saying he took credit for destroying that pipeline or the thing that Joe Biden destroyed. Trump's saying that he
yeah.
destroyed it or whatever. It's like, what are you doing? You dumbass.
Yeah, he's admitting to destroying it, even though he
didn't do it.
what's this?
Legal immigration.
Oops. Trump discussion turned to policy with Trump criticizing Vice President Kamala Harris for her hypocrisy. And this might be a little more interesting.
But we also need to shut down illegal immigration and especially unvetted illegal
Yes.
immigration because and that's not the same as saying that everyone who's an illegal immigrant is bad. In fact, I think most
Yes,
people.
that's a good point, Jeff. Elon Musk bought platforms and money from government contracts, apartheid inheritance, and corporate fuckery. It's just what it is because he made his fortune with government contracts, basically here in the U.S. Because through on SpaceX and stuff, and so Good
people
point.
who are
Great
illegal
point.
immigrants are actually good, but you can't tell the difference unless there's a solid vetting of who comes across the border. Does that accurately
100%.
represent your position?
I say it
Okay.
very simply. They have to come in legally.
They have
They
to
have
come
to
in
be
legally.
checked. Because look, Kamala was the border czar. Now she's denying it. Everything that I do, she's
Yeah.
saying she was strong on the border. We're going to be strong. Well, she doesn't have
We're
to
gonna
say it.
be
She could close it up right now. They could do things right now. It's horrible. No tax on tips, and all of a sudden she's making a speech and there will be no tax on tips. I said that months ago.
She's
And by
stealing.
the way, they
To
had
be
just the
fair, she's
opposite.
stealing Trump's policy there
Yeah.
about no tax on tips, and blatantly, by the way, and the media didn't call her on it and said, "Oh yeah, Kamala Harris, great policy idea, no tax on tips." Meanwhile, they're all ignoring the fact that Trump said it
And the
first.
fake progressives are all buying it. They're all shilling.
Yeah. And I'll get to Kamala's policy agenda in a second, but also they at the time when Trump first came up with this, they criticized Trump. I'm like, oh well, it's unrealistic policy proposal. Kamala does it. Oh, such a great progressive policy idea. We love it. And like it just blatant hypocrisy. Nobody calls her out either for stealing from Donald Trump's policies. Even I don't know whether he definitely wouldn't pass it, but I'm just saying he said it first.
They had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents, and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies and all of this on tips. They have a policy. They had a policy that they were really going to go
Is it
after.
me or speaking with a lisp? He's like, it's like, it's like he's giving liberals ammunition to say he's too old to run for president, just based off that,
Yeah.
off this
To go
performance
after
here.
you, and we're really harassing people
Harassing
horribly.
people.
And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, she comes out with what I said, which I think is very hard. These people are fake. Now they're also saying they did a good job on the border. We had the worst numbers in the history of the world, not of our country. There's never been a country in history that has had a catastrophe like this. We've had, I believe, and I think you believe this too. You hear 12
Yeah.
million, 13. I believe it's over 20 million people came into our country.
20 million
Many
people.
coming from jails, from prisons,
Jails.
from mental institutions, or a bigger version of that is
Yeah.
insane asylums. And
insane asylums. He's speaking with a lisp.
Yeah.
So let's see anything else. Musk has issued a dire warning about the future of America. Border policy continues. So is Elon Musk sucking himself off? We'll see.
border security. Where's he been for 3.5 years? For 3.5 years,
Yeah. No.
we have 20 million people
I think
poured in.
You had
It's
20
just
million
terrible.
Yeah,
people.
I think this, frankly, I think this is a fundamental existential issue for the United States. And if we have another 4 more years of open borders, and it's going to be even worse with another 4 more years, it's going to be even worse than it's been for the past, 3.5 years. I'm not sure we've got a country.
You don't
left
have a country
at that
left.
point.
Elon, if they get in, you will have 50 to 60 million people from all over the world, not South America only. We think of South America, we think of Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico, the four. But it's not that. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
They're coming in from
Yeah.
everywhere. And I had to stay in
Yeah, I think
Mexico.
this is a super important
Yeah.
point. Like people, it's like basically when I went down there, I was like, well, where are people from? It's like almost no one was from Mexico. to
No,
be clear.
Mexico less.
It's just
less
it's just
of
the
the
border. It's just the
That-
border with Mexico, but the people coming in, it's Earth, the rest of Earth, and America is only about 4 or 5% of the population of Earth. It would only take a few percent of the rest of Earth to overwhelm everything in the
We're
US.
already
So
overwhelmed,
With-
Elon. We're over.
All right. So it seemed like Elon Musk was trying to talk over Trump. Like, oh my God, he has such a lisp. Okay, let me talk over him. So he shuts up for a few seconds. Holy shit, it's just bad. I didn't realize how bad that lisp was until I'm listening to it now. I think that's it. Hold on, let me see. I don't know why I went all the way back to the top. This is the IQ part. Trump loves going
He
on
had a
about
low
the
IQ
IQ.
30 years ago, by the way, but now he might not even have a IQ at all. There's nothing on the board that goes this low. He said things that were so stupid
So stupid.
that war had zero chance of happening if I were there. Zero chance.
Zero
He was saying
sense.
everything
Yeah.
the opposite. Everything the opposite. And it's so sad
It's so
because
sad.
many more people have been killed in Ukraine than you read about. You don't read about how bloody it is and how disaster.
Sure.
Hey, look, just in the two armies, you lost 500,000 people.
He lost his.
And,
Yeah.
Ukraine's having a hard time. Ukraine, I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
the article recently, and it's true. You don't hear the true story. But if you think about it, Russia's gone, Russia defeated Germany with us, and they defeated Napoleon. They've been around a long time. They're a big fighting force.
And the defeat of
Yeah.
Napoleon.
So,
And very unfair.
Russia defeated Germany and Russia defeated Napoleon. That's not wrong, but that's not what U.S. history teaches us. Especially for World War II, is like the United States and the Allies were the heroes in that war, especially on the Eastern Front. The Western Front, we didn't do dick, but it was all Russians. But the Eastern Front, at least we were the heroes there. And by the time we got to Germany, the Russians have been there for days. So we didn't do anything when it comes to defeating Hitler. And again, with Napoleon, he's not wrong, but it's not what history teaches us. I mean, he's going off script there.
And Ukraine now doesn't have enough men. They're now using young men and very old men to fight. And
again, that's not wrong. The Ukrainians are running out of men. They're using old men and I'm not sure I'm allowed to use the word, but I'm using it anyway. Retards, slow people to fight. So that's what they're using now to fight the Russians.
we're in a very bad position. And I'm not going to blame exclusively, but I can tell you, I could have stopped that, and a smart president could have stopped that. It wouldn't have happened. But we had a man that actually made it. It made it more prevalent. It was so bad. The words that he was using, the stupid threats coming from a stupid face, that he was using.
A stupid threat coming with his stupid face. What? I have to read the subtitles. I can't understand what he's saying.
I said, this guy's going to cause us a war. He's going to cause us. And let me tell you, it can lead to World War III. That can lead to World War III. The Middle East can lead to. We have numerous places that could end up in a World War III right now for no reason.
With the World War III for no reason. God, that's the worst I've seen Trump sound since he started running for president. As the conversation continues, Musk proposed a bold plan to cut government spending, linking inflation directly to government overspending. So this is the part where Elon Musk basically reveals the truth. Like, he wants massive government cuts in spending.
The inflation, it doesn't matter what you make. The inflation is eating you alive. If you're a worker or if you're just a middle income person, you can't afford. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, people were saving a lot of money. Today, they're using all their money and borrowing money just to live. It's a horrible thing that's happening, and we'll end that quickly.
Well, I think a lot of a lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce.
That's an oversimplification of inflation.
When it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply, and if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation. So
I
really,
guarantee you, Trump didn't know that. He's like, right. Trump didn't have a clue what Elon Musk just said there.
we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's and we need to live with it.
I would be fine with that if they massively cut the Pentagon budget.
Yeah.
If not, then this is just pointless. This is just austerity measures to cut social programs. That's all that Elon Musk's talking about. If he's talking about the Pentagon, that this government efficiency agency is going to cut the Pentagon, I'm fine with that. Like, let's do it. Let's go right now.
Live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days.
That's right.
And the interest payments on the national debt.
Elon Musk making up numbers and Trump agreeing with them. Yeah, that's right. $1 trillion every day added to the budget, whatever, or to the deficit, whatever he just said.
Have now exceed the defense budget. It's on the order of $1 trillion.
It's interest.
And it keeps
It's interest and other stuff you just said there. God, this is so embarrassing. So Elon Musk also called out censorship, allegedly calling out the European Commissioner for trying to censor his conversation with Trump. I think this is it finally. No, there's one more, looks like. In contrast to censorship regimes around the world, Musk told Trump, I think it's obvious that you're a believer and advocate of free speech. Ah! Trump an advocate for free speech. My ass. Let me see what he says, though.
Americans from the country. And there's a lot of attempts to do censorship and to force censorship even on Americans from other countries. And I think it's obvious that you're a believer and an advocate of free speech, because during
Elon Musk sucking off Trump, saying, "Oh well, you're obviously an advocate for free speech, right?"
that was president, you were attacked relentlessly every day, often very unfairly with false attacks, and you didn't try to shut down the media. You didn't try to inhibit their freedom of speech, and I think that says a lot.
Yep. So Trump is the hero for free speech, everyone, or at least according to Elon Musk. So hopefully this is it, because this is really boring and I'm sick of covering this. I think this is it. Yeah, that's it. I'm done with this. But yeah, that was much more boring than I ever imagined it being. I listened to a lot of this, and I didn't realize Trump was talking like this, and I could barely understand him. Like he's talking with a
sounded
lisp.
like Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, like he's drunk or something. Stephanie said something interesting here. It's like that's the sound dentures make when you're trying to talk to them. Yeah, I mean it sounded like he did wear dentures. So Trump is a free speech hero, ladies and gentlemen. At least according to Elon Musk, who's obviously fishing for tax cuts from Trump, or deregulation, or both. So let's see. So now let's get to the coup de grace, which is Kamala Harris's policy proposals finally came out. But first, before we get to that, I have this funny clip to play. I just saw it. I just realized this is the president of the United States saluting Martin Sheen. Literally. I'm not making this up.
No. I saw it.
Look at this. Saluting Martin Sheen. Like he's he thinks that the West Wing is real, I guess, because Martin Sheen, if you guys don't know, if you're too young to remember, he was the president during all 7 or 8 years of the West Wing, which was on the air for in the U.S. So he thinks Martin Sheen's the president. So it's like he acts it. When you notice, he does this, like he kind of does this, and then he's like, "Oh shit!" I mean, and did that. So I know he did it. It was an accident. I had some people in my mention saying, "Oh well, obviously he was just joking. It wasn't real. If he was just joking, he would have done this and and gone all the way with it. Like he wouldn't just done this and just stopped himself. Like, oh shit." So let's see. Let's get to Miss Kamala's policy proposals, because they're all great. So I have no. Let's start with this, because this is good. So is it still that bad, or am I getting too close to the mic? I guess I'm getting too close to it. I have a habit of doing that, but let's get to that. Next time, this is due dissonance. Next time you say Democrats didn't do anything for you, remember, thanks to Joe Biden, you can score some arthritis meds for a cool $4,695. So these are all the drugs that they negotiated. They're making a big deal out of this because the official White House letterhead.
Yeah.
So Eliquis for blood clots, list price $531, negotiated price $231. Jardance for diabetes, heart failure, chronic kidney disease, $573 list price, $197 negotiated price. This is still very expensive, but they're running with it. For this medication, Xarelto, I think that's how I pronounce, for blood clots and coronary artery disease, $517. Blood and the negotiated price is $197. Still very expensive. Januvia for diabetes, $527, $113 negotiated price, still very expensive. This medication for diabetes, heart failure, kidney disease is $556. You get the point, but look at these drugs down here. For blood cancers, $14,937, negotiated price $9,319.
That's still a lot.
That's still very fucking. It's like a quarter savings, not even. And they're acting like, this is a historic and this is a big deal. And it's not even for all drugs. These are only the only drugs ever negotiated.
Yeah.
The other drugs, Stellaria, 13,836. Sorry, negotiated price $4,695. This is for psoriasis, arthritis, Crohn's disease, and colitis. And FIASP, this is for diabetes too. Is $119 negotiated price, $495 list price. So I'm assuming this is per bottle. This is per bottle of drugs. If it's per bottle, let's say 30 pills or whatever, it's still very expensive. This is all insanely expensive. So yeah, this is nothing to celebrate. This is quite embarrassing, in fact, for the administration. But they're gonna keep celebrating it. So, hey D, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like. Thank you. It's been a while. I haven't heard from you. Thank you. I mean, I tend to do this or move it in. So I apologize for that with my mic. But yeah, let's get to the actual the vice president's policy proposals and then I'm going to break them down and I'm going to eviscerate them. That's what I'm going to do. So this is the first video. Vice President. This is from the Kamala HQ account, as you can see there. Don't follow that account.
There's a Kamala HQ Lies account as well. You can go.
Oh, I didn't know that. I might follow that one. But don't follow this account, by the way.
Oh, no.
Yours. Vice President Harris, we will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new affordable homes for the middle class.
And why aren't you doing that now?
Because
we will take down.
Because you have to elect her first, Alex, and then she'll do it. We swear.
Oh.
That's how this game is played.
Barriers and cut red tape, including at the state and local levels. And by the end of my first term, we will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals for the middle class.
3 million new homes and rentals. That's what she's promising by the end of her first term. Except that there's as soon as you try to build a house or whatever it is, there's all this red tape. You have to get permits. You have to do this. You have to buy the land. You have to go through. You have to pay money and all this other stuff. So, I guarantee you, not even a quarter of those houses get built when she's elected. And then even then, they'll be bought up by the massive landlords, and they'll be rented out through Airbnb, and it'll cost you thousands of dollars a week. So it's not going to change anything.
And we will do that together. We will do that together. And we will make sure
I like
those
this
homes.
what my buddy D said. I got a feeling Kamala will win, go to war, and if you call her out, it'll be Obama 2.0. You're racist. I really got a sense this would happen. Hopefully not, but it's very possible that it could happen.
Do you still believe that map that you did last week? Do you still believe that will be the results for the election?
As of now, yes. I mean, I'm putting Trump to win because the electoral college is against the Democrats. But if the media keeps pushing Kamala, and if she does well in their debate in September and not fall flat on her face, then it's a really good chance that she could win this election. Because then the media can justify their pushing of her. You see, she did so well against Trump. So yeah, no matter what, they're gonna say she won the debate. No matter what, as long as she doesn't fall flat on her face and embarrass herself. As long as she does okay, they'll say that she crushed Trump in the debate. Yeah. And the same thing with the VP debate in October. They'll say Tim Walz won that debate over and over again because he's not going to fall flat on his face. Tim Walz a lot of things, but he's a solid politician. I mean, he's well spoken. He has some charisma. You know, Kamala has none, but he has some charisma. He's a good politician. He's well spoken, so he's not going to fall flat on his face. And since that's the case, he'll win that debate, no matter how idiot, no matter what he says, he has to just come across well, which he will. But I question Kamala. I still think she's going to fall flat on her face, especially when Trump points out her horrible history as a DA and as Attorney General in California. So, and especially calling her border czar. So, she's probably not going to do well when she gets called out like that, because she's not going to be scripted either. Remember, because in this speech she did come off well, but to be fair, she was scripted. She had her teleprompter, you know, she knew what she was going to say. She had her talking points. So she came across as well. As soon as she gets off of that and she has to talk off the cuff like I do, all of a sudden she just says word salads.
Yeah.
So let's see what she says.
Actually go to working and middle class Americans, not just investors.
It'll go to investors. There's no way that Kamala Harris is going to fight to make sure that these homes actually go to Americans, you know, that are homeless or struggling to buy a house. You know, no. They're going to go to investors, no matter what she says.
Because, you know, some corporate landlords, some of them buy dozens, if not hundreds of houses and apartments. Then they turn them around and rent them out at extremely high prices. And it can make it impossible then for regular people to be able to buy or even rent a home. Some corporate landlords collude with each other to set artificially high rental prices.
I think I either may have covered this or didn't cover it, and I meant to cover it, but there's a company that created an AI. I forget what it's called right now, but landlords hire this company and use their AI in order to calculate their rents every year, which is why we see an insanely high rent going up insanely high every year. I saw this apartment building go from $1,000 a month to like $5,000 a month, like in 1 year, and in no justification for it. It's just AI that is telling landlords how much to raise rents by, and the landlords have to do it because apparently they're contractually obligated to do so with this company. So, and I'm assuming this company takes a share. You know, they take a portion of the rent and put it in their pockets, and that's how they make their money. I forget what the company's called right now. They will sue because right now I think the Department of Justice is suing this company right now, which is surprising, but they're actually suing this company over this. Again, I meant to cover it or I did cover it. I don't remember the company's name. I don't know yet, but I have to think about it.
Often using algorithms in price-fixing software.
She just
to
said
do
it.
It's anti-competitive and it drives up costs. I will fight for a law that cracks down on these practices.
No, she won't. No, she won't. If she does, it'll be watered down as hell. They'll pass something which is watered down, which you can drive a Mack truck through the loopholes. So that's her first policy. Let's see. Oh, this is the big one: the price gouging on food. I'm definitely going to break this down and eviscerate it, but afterwards.
As president, I will go after the bad actors. And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
No, it's not price gauging. It's price gouging. She butchered that, and she has a teleprompter. It's not price gauging. It's price gouging.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stephanie says, I'm not sure who voice I want to hear less from the next 4 years, Trump or Harris. At least they hid Biden. We don't have to hear him much. Yeah, man. I fucking loathe election years. I do too. But they're fun to cover at the same time because I get to make fun of these politicians. But yeah, by the way, Kamala, it's not price gauging.
Price gauging on food.
It's price gouging. Let's just get that out of the way. She butchered that. I think her staff.
My plan will include.
As soon as she said that, her staff did this. Like, I guarantee you, because like, come on, we practiced this, and you butcher it like that. It took her a month to come out with a policy agenda. A month after she entered the race. So they had plenty of time to craft and to practice this speech over and over again, and she screws up.
New penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules, and we will support smaller food businesses that are trying to play by the rules and get ahead. We will help the food industry become more competitive because I believe
My cats, by the way.
competition is the lifeblood of our economy. More competition means lower prices for you and your families.
So that's Kamala Harris's genius idea to cut food food gauging prices. So yeah, and I'm going to try to break this down. Look, I'm not an economist. I'm not anything like that, but I could tell what's going. I can basically tell you what's going on here. Why are food prices so high? Let's examine this for a second. Partly it's because of inflation. Inflation being so high that everything costs more, like food and like growing the product and the pesticides and whatever they use to protect the food, even though that's poisoning us, which is a whole nother thing. But that's part of their expense too, from uh, from actually um, from actually picking the food, which is pretty cheap because they mostly use illegals. But I digress. That's still an expense, though. From picking the food to putting it in trucks to driving it across the country to protecting to putting it in freezers, depending on what foods we're talking about here, on refrigerators and refrigerated trucks, getting it to distribution centers, packing it, putting it in the proper trucks in order to get to stores around the country, to the workers that put it on the shelves, to finally you get that final price for your food. Whether let's keep it simple, a carton of eggs, a dozen of eggs, it's like, let's say it's $8 for a carton of eggs, which honestly I've seen it that expensive in certain parts of the country. Here in New Jersey, I've seen it as high as like $6 or 6.50. But let's say it's $8. But the administration here, genius here, Kamala Harris, decides to cap the price at, I don't know, $4 or $5. What's going to happen then? Corporations, they lose $2 for every dozen eggs they sell. So what's going to happen is they're going to stop selling eggs because it's not profitable anymore. Or any food in general, they're going to stop selling it because it's not profitable at all. So we're going to have food shortages. It's going to be difficult to get food at stores, and that's brought to you by the Harris Walz administration. And if that happens, that's like the worst case scenario. But if that happens, Republicans will rule the White House for decades, kind of like they did post Lyndon Johnson. They ruled the White House from like 69 to like 93. They only had one Democratic president within that 30-year period. But so that's why those policies, the price gouging of food. Yes, and it's also, let's keep it real. It's partly because of higher wages. And again, I'm not saying higher wages are bad. Higher wages are great. I mean, we all enjoy higher wages.
Yeah.
It's just that that's labor cost. And for corporations, what are they going to do? They're going to pass that on to the consumer. Like a lot of cities and states in this country are voting for higher minimum wages through ballot initiatives. That's great. We all deserve higher wages. But these corporations, they're going to naturally pass the cost on to their consumers. They're going to put that cost onto them. So that means our products are going to cost more, especially food, even electronics and everything like that. But we're discussing food in this case. So our prices are going to go up. So there's also supply chain issues, which is a whole other thing from COVID because the liberals insisted on shutdowns, in which caused supply chain issues, which has also caused inflation. So it isn't as simple as saying food prices are too high, it's corporations' fault. So let's put price controls in order to make the prices lower. I wish it was that simple, because if it was that simple, we just do it and we can all save money. But I digress. I don't know what you think about that, but
I agree.
yeah. All right. So let's see. Abby says they're clapping for shit, and she's supposed to have been already been doing. Oh, that's a great point. She's the VP. She's a part of the administration. Why is she not doing this now? Why is she not doing some of this now, as Alex said and as the chat said? Because she's like, well, I can't do it now. I'm the VP, so you have to elect me. You have to make me president, and then I'll do one or two of these things, but very watered down with a million loopholes. That way, nothing changes.
And
So
then
my
Kyle
donors get
Kornstein,
be
the
happy.
Vanguard, TYT, all those people, they'll suck it. They'll all gobble it up, and
Yes,
they-
they're all falling for this shit. At this moment, when everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher. Harris talks about Trump's raising taxes on basic necessities. He's referring to tariffs, by the way, because Trump wants to institute more tariffs or to do more protectionism, which is supposed to be a Democratic policy. Whoops. I actually have to share my screen first. Very genius, Cynthia. You didn't bother sharing your screen. There you go. But yeah, what she's talking about is Trump's wanting to do tariffs, which is a protectionist policy, which is something allegedly Democrats are in favor of. But yeah, let's see what she has to say.
What Donald Trump plans to do. He wants to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax on everyday products and basic necessities.
Has Trump talked about a national sales tax? Unless I missed it, I don't think he has. Chad, did I miss that?
He might be referring to that when he gave that speech yesterday with all the food stuff on the table. You know what I'm talking about, right?
It could be, but I assume she was talking about tariffs. I didn't know she was talking about a national sales tax because some Republicans have proposed this, but as far as I know, Trump never did, or hasn't at least, unless I missed it. It's possible. So if someone in the chat can say yes that he's definitely proposed this, then okay. But as far as I know, he hasn't proposed this, and this isn't true.
Necessities that we import from other countries. That will devastate Americans. It will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. And economists have done the math. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year.
Okay, that's where she got that number from, because they tweeted out this number that Trump's policies would cost Americans $3,900 a year. Like, where'd you get this number from? It's like these alleged economists say that, it'll cost families $3,900 a year for Trump's tariffs, which is what she's referring to. She's referring to tariffs in this part of her speech there.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to do protectionist policies, which means that, and to this day, we still do it. Like the wheels, American-made wheels are cheaper than foreign-made wheels because of a tariff that Lyndon Baines Johnson put in for the United Auto Workers in order to get their support for the Civil Rights Act. Because initially they didn't support it. Okay, what is it going to take for you to support it? Oh, put in a tariff for foreign-made wheels and foreign-made. That way, it'll save our jobs. Like, okay, so it's been on ever since. So tariffs has always been a part of our protectionism. Has always been a part of our history. And Kamala Harris is like acting like, oh no, that's horrible because it'll cost you more. Yes, it'll cost us more because Americans will make it, and Americans make it, or the wages are higher, and the wages are higher. It's going to cost. They're going to pass that cost to us, makes it higher. So, but I digress, But it just makes me like they're so disingenuous about this.
At this moment, when everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
So what Democrats, liberals, and Kamala Harris is telling us is we have to keep making our stuff in Asia and taking advantage of sweatshops in order to keep our prices low. That's what she's saying. And these liberals here don't.
America first.
No, it's if you want to save money, then we have to employ these brown Asians in Asia in order to and not even employ them. Really, it's just sweatshops, and they make like 2 cents an hour or something in order to keep our prices low. That's what she's saying there. And these liberals are too stupid to, and they're nodding away. It's like, oh yeah, Trump's gonna cost us more money and stuff. And these are the same assholes who virtue signal about how they want to help brown people in America. Pricks. I already did that. That's the supply chain thing. During Kamala Harris's speech, let's see. Abby says no. From what they're saying, her mom will be gone by the weekend. C'est la vie. Let's. All right. So Kamala Harris is going to attack Donald Trump for not protecting America's supply chains during the pandemic. This is very disingenuous, and I will explain why after we see the clip. I already explained it on X, but I'll explain it here again.
We all know
This is
that prices went up during the pandemic when the supply chains shut down and failed. But our supply chains have now improved, and prices are still too high.
whose fault is that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's your fault and Joe Biden's fault. The price is still too high.
Yeah.
But she's gonna blame.
It's like she's kind of admitting it.
Yeah, but she's gonna find a way to blame Trump for this stuff.
Yeah.
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic.
Yes.
Ground beef is up almost 50%.
Yes. And you asshole liberals want to kill off a bunch of cows in order to cut the supply of ground beef and make it even more expensive. But again, I digress. It's not really important right now.
The big food companies are seeing their highest profits in 2 decades. And while many grocery chains pass along these savings, others still aren't.
No grocery store is passing on these imagined savings. Everything is still very expensive. Wherever you go in this country for food, it's still very expensive. What grocery chains are passing on these savings? Not Walmart, not Target, not We have a local grocery chain here in the Northeast called Aldi's. I'm not sure where you have it out there, Alex, but they're called Aldi's.
I live in LA, so we have Ralph's. And,
okay, so
Costco.
those local chains, they haven't raised price, they haven't lowered prices either. So, what imagined grocery stores are going to lower prices? I would love to hear her explain which ones are lowering prices.
Yeah.
Look, I know most businesses are creating jobs, contributing to our economy, and playing by the rules. But some are not. And that's just not right. And we need to take action when that is the case.
But we're not going to do it.
No, they ain't going to do anything. But she says, this is Kamala Wynn's account. Vice President Kamala Harris just demolished Donald Trump for failing to protect our supply chains. All right, let me explain how stupid this is. Because let's keep it real. Every U.S. president, every U.S. politician has had something to do with our failing supply chains during the pandemic. Everyone that has started outsourcing. Bill Clinton. No, George H.W. Bush tried to do NAFTA, but he couldn't do it. So Clinton did it. Let's start with Bush. But Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush Jr., Obama, Trump, and now Biden. They all had something to do.
It's not Bush Jr.
W did he
no,
did.
No. I mean, they don't call him Bush Jr. That's what I mean.
Oh no, they don't. But I just did because that's the first thing that popped in my head. But W definitely did outsource a shit ton. He had policies that like, oh yeah, you can go ahead outsource. I'll give you tax cuts. In fact, if you do that. But yeah, every U.S. president, and every U.S. politician has something to do with the outsourcing of jobs and outsourcing of a lot of our supply chains to China and Asia and some in Africa and some in Central and South America. So what happens during the pandemic? Everything shuts down and our supply chain is ruined. And I remember the pandemic. We can barely get toilet paper.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, I was grabbing like 4 or 5 toilet paper things. I need it. I'm not gonna. I need it. And we also had a hard time getting disinfectants and alcohol and everything that we needed. I'm talking about rubbing alcohol, not drinking alcohol, because that was always available. I mean, there was no supply chain issues there, but for the stuff that we really need, there were supply chain issues. And whose fault is that? That's not just Trump's fault. She finds a way to blame Trump for it, but
Yeah.
that's not Trump's fault. It is Trump's fault, but it's not just his fault. That's what I'm trying to say. And Kamala disingenuously just blames Trump for this. And she admits that, oh yeah, well, prices are still up. She doesn't. Prices are still up, guys, even
Yeah.
though after the pandemic's over.
Yeah,
But
you had
prices are up.
to do it.
So who's president right now? It's like she's throwing Joe Biden under the bus.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I had nothing to do with that. I'm just a VP, even though she's running as the incumbent. Because she has the vice president's podium and stuff.
So that means she's kind of saying Tim Walz being VP is not going to matter either.
No. Aldi is a German grocery chain operating in the U.S. Yeah, they're here mostly in the Northeast. I know because I do go to Aldi's for a lot of my grocery shopping. They're here mostly in the Northeast. Okay, let me show you this. This is but in Kamala Harris. This is the next thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So Kamala Harris promises every new homeowner, every first-time homeowner in the United States will get $25,000 for a down payment for their homes. However, of course, there's issues with that, but there is a catch. According to this account, who's a liberal account,
Yeah.
but it says only because JD Vance says Kamala Harris wants to give $25,000 to legal aliens to buy American homes. This will only further exacerbate the housing shortage in our country. It's a disgrace. She claims this is a lie. Only American citizens who have paid their rent on time for the last 2 years and are buying their first home are eligible to apply for $25,000 towards a down payment. So in other words, only American citizens that have paid their rent on time for the last 2 years. Like, who does that? If you don't own your house, you're gonna have a hard time paying your. Especially, we just discussed that rents are sky high now. So, in other words, it's like, oh no, not many Americans will be eligible. Then this is definitely means tested to hell. But let's say somehow, even then, let's say that $25,000 is able to do. You're able to do this. This $25,000. That I get it. Let's say as a first-time homeowner. I guarantee you what's going to happen is a lot of these homeowners and a lot of these corporate homeowners especially will just say, you know what, we're just going to raise all home prices by $25,000. So that eats away this gift that you get from the government. And then you have a 30-year mortgage which has an interest rate of 6 to 8%. And if you need the government to give you $25,000 for a down payment, that also tells me that you can't afford the home. So you're probably going to lose the house, and then we're going to be in the same mess anyways. Difference is it'll cost us hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in taxpayer money. So I'm sorry, this is more virtue signal grandstanding. This is not going to actually do anything policy-wise to get more Americans into homes. But yeah, let's get to our media fully behind Kamala Harris. I keep getting too close to the mic. Either I'm doing this or I'm trying to.
You're kind of like Cornel West, who does the.
Yeah. All these across the U.S. I am in Iowa. I used to go there. Illinois, great store. German rule is that clerks must sit down at checkouts to prevent foot injuries. What's funny is I've always wondered why all these cashiers sit down, and they have nice chairs too. They have nice, comfortable chairs too. And I always wondered why that is. I just thank you for telling me that, Snork, because then I didn't know that. Like, why do all these German it makes sense now. Because I thank you for that. I mean, now I know why. Because I've always wondered that, like, why do they always sit down? It's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's not horrible, but let's see. Where is it? Why didn't I? But yeah, Kamala Harris's policies are horrendous, and they're giant virtue signals. Let's see. Where is it? Why am I? So yeah, the entire media is fully behind Trump, especially like we talked about, liberal online media. They're all, but I said all behind Trump. I meant to say all behind Harris, but they're Harris because of Tim Walz, Mister Tim Walz. You know,
Yeah.
he is like their Lord, Emperor, God, Savior, and
Just like I
yeah,
said before, they would have gone behind them if Josh Shapiro was their VP. It would not have made a difference.
Oh yeah, in fact, I think it was Cenk Uygur who wrote an opinion piece for Newsweek talking about that before they picked Tim Walz. They talked
Yeah.
about how Josh Shapiro was actually the progressive pick, according to Cenk Uygur. So now it was, and even his own TYT employees ran a calling him on that bullshit.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. And Jay, well, I mean, I didn't know that they would actually pick Tim Walz. You know, I thought they would pick Josh Shapiro, and I was trying to do trying to defend the Democratic Party no matter what. Because is it better, Steph? I hope so, because it's pretty far away now. I'm not sure how much further away I can do it. So yeah, so let me play. I should have probably saved the video, and I didn't. You know what? Let me just go to YouTube. It's easier. So bear with me 1 second while I find this, but I usually don't. I haven't played a Kyle video in a long time on this show, but I think this video. Kyle's gonna complain about Joe Rogan calling Tim Walz a communist. I'm not sure if you've seen this or not. Okay, I'm glad I'm good. Yeah, he calls Tim Walz a communist, and Kyle whines about it. But I'm not gonna play the whole thing because I don't want to bore the audience. But where is it? Man, he does so many videos every day. It's nuts. Trying to find it. Joe Rogan. He put Joe Rogan. Here it is. He compares Tim Walz to Kim Jong Un. That's what it was. It's this one. So he whines about this, that Kim Jong Un isn't, Tim Walz isn't Kim Jong Un. He's so much better. He is so much better. So here is Mr. Kyle Kalinske. Let me see. I think I wrote down. It's 5:34. I'm not gonna play this whole thing because let's start from here. Actually, let's play the beginning and then what Joe says, and then I'm gonna skip ahead.
That's what he does. That's what he called. Now, by the way, the flag to be like
What the fuck?
so.
You talk too much, man.
This is correct. But this also, right, is they're radical socialists. That's what he does. That's what he calls.
All right, when he actually plays the clip? Oh, here it is. So he spends like nearly 2 minutes talking nonsense for no reason
about Tim Walz and Kamala Harris. But again, the genesis of the conversation was more about Tim Walz. Listen to this.
The flag doesn't bother me that much. If the people in Minnesota like it, like who cares? It's just a star and some colors. The real problem is when you discussions of things that are like openly Marxist philosophies, when you hear talk about equal outcomes and and not just equal opportunity, but that we all need to arrive at the same place, equal outcome talk. There's only one way they can do that, and it's by forcing you.
Well, it's by everyone having nothing.
Yeah.
That's the only way to have things totally equal, because you can't have everyone have everything. That's impossible.
Right. There's no way. There's not enough resources. And so for equal distribution, that has to be enforced by law. So that has to be enforced by the government, and the government generally does not have equal. They have much more than you. And that's Fidel Castro in Cuba. That's North Korea. That's virtually every communist country that's ever existed. You have a military dictatorship that decides what you can and can't do with your time.
Sure.
And all under the guise of making it better for everyone. And that's exactly what they did in North Korea. When they took over people's farms, they said, we're going to take over the farm so that everybody has food. Yay, good. Now everyone's starving.
Right.
And the government has all the food.
He brought this up in the context of a conversation.
So he's going to complain about how Tim Walz isn't a communist for the next few minutes. Like, who cares? So I'm just going to start from here because He spends 2
You're
minutes
killing me.
complaining about he's a communist, how Tim Walz isn't a communist, and Joe Rogan's wrong because he's very upset because he used to be friends with Joe Rogan. As everybody, he's go on the show all the time.
Yeah.
So now I don't think he'll ever go back on the show again because Joe Rogan isn't that progressive that Kyle thought anymore, unless he's a sellout, and then he'll go on the show because he wants to get more viewers on his channel. But I digress, So this is where there's a lot of hypocrisy here and a lot of irony, which is why I wanted to play this. By the way, there's two things Kyle does not mention. All these great policies that Tim Walz has, two things that he doesn't mention. That Tim Walz is a Zionist, unrepentant Zionist, and that he's pro-Ukraine war and wants to continue funding.
And he doesn't support Medicare for all.
Nope.
Doesn't support. I don't think he supports a $15 minimum wage. Is that correct?
I don't know. I assume not, but
Yeah. And
again, I'm not 100% sure on that. So he does not mention. Listen to the rest of this video. He does not mention those three things once.
Yeah.
On how great Tim Walz is.
Tim Walz is actually about. Tim Walz with a 1-seat majority in Minnesota. 1-seat majority. He got us free school breakfast and lunch for kids in school.
No. He didn't get us.
Joe Rogan, do you support that?
Minnesota.
Us. Yeah, he acts like he lives in Minnesota. And I assume he means us from like his audience. Like he got us. Most of his audience doesn't live in Minnesota, so it doesn't make any sense why he would say he got us. But he got us, guys. Let's see what he got us.
I think you do, right? I think he does. If I'm being kind, I think he does. He got us legal weed. We know Joe Rogan supports that. He did carbon-free electricity by 20.
He got us that. If you live in Minnesota, if you live in, let's say, in Texas. Unfortunately, weed is still illegal. And you still get arrested there, and you still go to jail for possessing any type of marijuana in Texas. So he didn't get us anything. He got Minnesotans those things.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
2040. He did tax
carbon-free electricity by 2040. What does that mean? Does that mean it means building more nuclear power plants? So that's carbon-free. That's the only way to get carbon-free electricity by 2040. Just build a bunch of nuclear plants.
I just noticed, why the fuck would Kyle like and retweet his own tweet? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, a lot of these influencers, they like and retweet themselves. I don't do it. I think
retweet. I know people retweet their own tweets, but like he's liking his tweet. Like, what are you doing, man?
Man, he's liking it. Yeah, he got Minnesota poor people higher school taxes. That's the thing. All of these great policies, according to Kyle, they're all great. Which on paper they are. They are great. But what? Excuse me. What is that going to lead to? That's right. That's going to lead to higher taxes, higher property taxes. A lot of these things are school related, which means higher property taxes. So you own a home in Minnesota, you can thank Tim Walz for your higher property taxes. And your higher, I'm not sure Minnesota has a sales tax or not. I know here in New Jersey we have a sales tax, but I'm not sure about Minnesota. But you'll get maybe higher income tax because Tim Walz wants to do all of these great progressive policies. They want to tax and spend. But that's the disadvantage. There's going to be a lot higher taxes.
Tax rebates for the working class up to $1,300 if they make.
Wait. So not only does it's $1,300 tax rebates for working class people, and the government can afford this. That's called, what is that called? The what tax? What credit? It's called the working. I forget what the credit's called. It's basically for poor people, but the state of Minnesota definitely cannot afford this. They're not a big state. They're not like New York or New Jersey or California or Florida even. There's no way Florida ever do it, but I'm just saying. They're not a high economic state, and somehow they're going to afford $1,300. This program isn't going to last long.
Yeah.
They make under $150,000 a year. He gave us 12 weeks paid family leave, 12 weeks paid sick leave.
12 weeks is what? 4, 8, 12. That's 3 months. That is 3 months paid family leave and 3 months paid sick leave. So, but the issue with, again, I don't understand this. Or does the government pay for it, or does corporations pay for it? Because if corporations pay for it, I'm definitely fine with that, because they can afford it. if the government's paying for this 3 months, why the hell would any taxpayer agree to that? Unless everybody benefits. But even it's like a lot of this is just so like none of this ain't gonna last long. When Tim Walz isn't governor anymore, a lot of this will be stripped away slowly but surely.
Yeah.
He banned gay conversion therapy because it's a scam and it doesn't
That
work.
isn't going to be stripped away because Democrats they hate gay conversion therapy, so that'll stay in the books. But the rest of this stuff, especially the economic stuff, will go away.
And it's total bullshit. He did red flag laws for guns. That's to make it so that if somebody's posting on social media, I'm going to go shoot up my school tomorrow, you can legally take that person's guns, because it would be fucking insane to not be able to legally take that person's guns. He did universal background checks for guns. This guy hunts. This guy has guns. This guy believes in the Second Amendment, but he believes in basic regulatory functions to make sure we keep the guns out of the hands of.
So Fred Edwards says something interesting. Carbon-free electricity is impossible. Just the concrete for nuclear reactors produces CO2. I didn't know that. That's something I learned there. That's something new. So yeah, it came across as carbon-free electricity. The only thing I know about it that is carbon-free and clean is nuclear power plants. So even then, it turns out that I'm wrong on that. Property tax for education is racist as fuck. Most current nuclear reactors produce CO2, but my argument against nuke is mostly controls of expended materials. So yeah, not even nuclear energy is nothing. There's nothing this perfect, like carbon-free electricity, whatever that means.
Hands of absolute psychopaths. He did
Let me
automatic
go back.
guns. This guy believes in the Second Amendment, but he believes in basic.
Universal background checks for guns. That could be unconstitutional if it's challenged because that limits gun ownership. So, and that's unconstitutional according to the Supreme Court's current interpretation of the Second Amendment. Do I think there should be universal background checks? Yes, but unfortunately, I'm pretty sure this universal background checks are unconstitutional. But if it gets challenged in the Supreme Court, we'll see.
Basic regulatory
And
functions
then if
to make
it's overturned, I guarantee you Kyle will complain about how they're judicial supremacists and they are the worst of the worst and need to be reformed. So
make sure we keep the guns out of the hands of absolute psychopaths. He did automatic voter registration, free public college for people that make under $80,000. He banned the PFAS, the forever chemicals. I hear Rogan all the time bashing Big Pharma, for example.
PFAS. I don't know what that is, the forever chemicals, so I'm not really going to comment on that, but let's keep going.
I'm sure he realizes the chemical companies are polluters and they dump all these terrible things all over the place and make people sick. He banned the forever chemicals. He did a $2.2 billion increase in K-12 school funding. It's good to fund public schools. He did sectoral bargaining for nursing home workers, which increases the pay of nursing home workers. But I got more. He opposed the Wall Street bailouts in 2008. Rogan agreed.
Does that anything impress you? Because it doesn't impress me. Most of it is just unrealistic, and most of it is just going to go away by the time Tim Walz leaves office. Let's see. Let's keep going. Maybe some of this will impress me.
Rogan agrees with that. He voted against outsourcing deals. Rogan agrees with that.
Tim Walz, before he became governor, he was a middle-of-the-road Democrat congressman from Minnesota. So all of a sudden he becomes governor. This is the biggest progressive in the world.
Yeah.
Even though for years he spent in Minnesota being a congressman who was middle of the road. He was a Joe Biden type of Democrat.
He has a 100% rating from Planned Parenthood, which just means he supports reproductive rights. He has the pro-Roe v. Wade position that Democrats have, that Rogan also claims to have. He banned non-compete clauses, which of course are very predatory. He raised the minimum wage for small businesses, raised taxes on multinational corporations. He protected trans healthcare. He's not some radical. He's not some extremist. He just thinks trans people should be treated equally and that trans people should have rights.
Mm-hmm.
He banned medical providers from withholding care for people over debt. He protected construction workers from wage.
Is that a thing? Banning people for getting health care because of debt? Because I thought it was a federal law saying that you couldn't do that.
I don't know.
Like that, like hospitals, they couldn't deny care because you owe them money. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there isn't, but maybe there wasn't. But even then, yeah, it's like I don't know. I mean, let's see what else he has to say.
Wage theft and did a
Protected construction workers from wage theft. Okay.
massive Minnesota infrastructure bill. And I haven't even brought up that on foreign policy, he's the guy everybody on the left and the populist right say they want. You know, the right-wingers who claim to be anti-establishment? Well, guess what? This is a guy who fought for peace in Iran. He was in favor of the Iranian nuclear agreement.
He brings up foreign policy here, but he doesn't bring up Israel or his Ukraine position much.
In favor of normalization with Cuba because the embargo is fucking stupid. But more importantly, he was against the Iraq war, and on two separate occasions, in 2013 and in 2016, he led the charge for us to not go to war in Syria. That's who this guy is. Everybody on the so-called anti-establishment right should be singing his praises and saying stuff like, Tim Walz stood up to the deep state and fought on the side of the people.
No, he didn't.
That's what people would be saying in a world
It's not true. By the way, he never brought up Israel and his Zionism, and he never brought up Ukraine. He brings up everything else that he did, but except those two horrible things, which is why you cannot support this ticket. Let's see. Do they know how to get around implementing 12-week paid family leave? So Snork says, if you have more than $15,000 debt to a hospital, they will stabilize you and then transfer you to another facility. Okay, so they have to stabilize you. I do know that. They can't just leave you to die. Like a lot of other countries, you know, if you owe them money or you can't pay, just leave you to die. They have to stabilize you. I do know that, and then they transfer you. Okay, no, so yeah, okay. So I was wrong about that. I thought they had to treat you and keep you no matter what. But yeah, none of this is impressive. And he blatantly doesn't bring it up because he knows Kyle's not stupid. He's a lot of things. He's boring. He's like a dorky dad, you know, like a dorky dude, but he's not stupid. He knows that Tim Walz is a Zionist, and he knows that he wants to continue the Ukraine war. But he's not bringing this up, and he won't continue. He'll continue not to bring it up.
A world where evidence mattered and empirical data mattered and somebody's record actually fucking mattered. That's what people would be saying about Tim Walz. But we live in the dumbest possible age where everybody is brain poisoned by the internet and they see some dumbass headline about Tampon Tim or whatever the fuck. And it's like, oh.
Ironically, Kyle is the one that's too online. He loves he's always tweeting every nonsensical meme and, you know, but meanwhile he says other people are too online.
Okay, radical socialist extremist wants to make everybody earn the exact same amount of money from now until the day they fucking die. None of this shit is true. None of it is true. It's all desperate, pathetic, over-the-top smears against one of the politicians in America who actually does the right thing. He didn't just say, I support all these things. He delivered on all these things, both as a congressperson, but then more importantly, as governor.
Not as a congressperson. He was a Joe Biden centrist, very much, as a congressperson. You want to say governor? Fine. But a lot of those policies are unrealistic or will go away because everybody's taxes are going up in Minnesota in order to fund these things. And how long that will last before voters say, fuck this, get rid of all these things because it's way too expensive. And it's cost me way too much in taxes.
Governor of Minnesota. He's literally one of the best politicians in the entire country.
And there it is. There it is. He's just hero worshiping Tim Walz. There it is. And that's the number one thing that pisses me off. And we Americans constantly make fun of North Koreans and country like that where they completely worship Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il before him and Kim Il-sung before him. Sorry, I couldn't spit it out. But meanwhile, Americans worship their politicians just as much, if not worse. I mean, look at Kyle here worshiping Tim Walz. And by proxy, Kamala Harris, because she picked Tim Walz. Look at the right wing. They hero worship Donald Trump like he's some kind of goddamn hero. So we do it too. We Americans in general do it too. Not me, but hell, to be fair, I did it too with Bernie Sanders. I hero worshipped him too. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I never done it. Because I did. But I snapped out of it rather quickly. So it took me, I was the biggest Bernie bro in the world. I'll admit that. I'll take that L. But I definitely need to carry that L for the rest of my life. But yeah, Kyle, he's worshiping fucking Tim Walz like he's some kind of hero, and swears he's gonna do shit while he's president. But he's not even while he's president. He's gonna be vice president, not president. But
Yeah.
He actually represents the positions of the American people. The American people want free school breakfast and lunch for kids. The American people want paid family leave and paid medical leave. American people want
100%.
higher wages for workers. This is what the American people want, and he delivered. He's a true
100%. So for champion policies, not politicians. Steph says he effing acts like he lives in Minnesota.
Exactly.
He keeps saying we. Yeah. He got us this. He got us that. He got that us this. He lives in New York, or does he live in Virginia now? Did he move to Crystal Ball's multi-million-dollar mansion? Because I remember he lived in New York for a long time.
Yeah, that might be true. Yeah.
So he might have moved to Virginia, but to be with his wife, which I'm not judging him for. I mean, please be with your wife, but yeah, don't act like you live in Minnesota, dude, when you don't.
true centrist. He's a true moderate in the sense that he represents the center of mainstream American opinion. And
what Kyle means, he's an international centrist. He doesn't mean that he's like a centrist in the U.S. context. He's a centrist international. He called Bernie Sanders an international centrist too. So Snork says, I'm about 80 minutes from Minnesota and I can't get the cooties off of me. And Steph said, which is a great point. You skirt around the 12-week family leave by making full-timers part-timers. And I'm sure that Tim Walz didn't put in a provision that says you have to make full-time, you have to give this to part-time workers too. Sure he didn't, which is why it's a giant loophole. I know water's a big factor. I thought most scientists know that too. I've been skeptical of that CO2 argument, but it gets too complicated for me. Yeah, I don't know much about CO2 and that stuff, which is why I didn't argue when Snork said that, or whoever it was said that about concrete being in CO2, or CO2 being in concrete.
And what does he get as a thanks? Compared to Kim Jong-un, an authoritarian, tyrannical dictator who's only...
All right, Joe Rogan's wrong. But here's the thing. I don't give a shit enough to defend Tim Walz. Yeah. I don't care to defend Tim Walz from Joe Rogan's, smearing of him, let's say. Kyle does, because he hero worships Tim Walz, just like everybody else and all his other friends, for the most part, worship Tim Walz.
Only known for having a total fucking police state. By the way, let's remember, Rogan is saying this sort of stuff about Tim Walz. Remember, Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. Donald Trump literally came out and said on Truth Social, we need to suspend the Constitution, terminate the Constitution.
So disingenuous. That was clearly sarcasm.
Yeah.
Because Trump is a master of sarcasm. And Kyle knows this. He said it before, but it's just disingenuous.
Yeah.
So he can get back in power. Because he wanted January 6th to succeed. He wanted the fraudulent elector slates to succeed. He said...
AKA alternate electors. Politicians and presidents have done this for decades. For centuries in this country. They propose alternate, because especially if they lose, that way they can put in their own electors to vote for them to actually turns out that they won the election. This has always happened in American history, but somehow now, because Trump did it, it's evil, it's bad, and they're fake electors instead of alternate electors. It seems like they don't know their American history.
Don't forget Kyle.
He said, let's terminate the Constitution.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Don't forget Kyle admitted when he was talking with the Vanguard that he wished he voted for Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah, the Vanguard boys. I mean, I'm going to probably mention them real quick here in a little bit.
Constitution and all rules and regulations so I can get back in power. That's what he said. This is a guy who just praised Xi Jinping for ruling, and I quote, with an iron fist. Trump outright saying an iron fist is a good thing. This is who his opponent is. Trump wants to... Tim Walz legalize weed.
He'll be back. He'll be back, guys. It's happened before.
I didn't realize when I got cut off. I was talking, I was blabbing away, and I got cut off. So, what I was saying was what I was saying is Trump. What was I saying? It was. Hold on. Kyle was talking about something here. I got. What did he say? Something set me off.
I haven't said anything about.
He also didn't say anything about Zionist Israel, and he also didn't say anything about the Ukraine. He also didn't say, there's so many things Kyle's leaving out, and I know he's leaving it out.
One of the things, Topher, I think it's Topher. He brought up that Walz, where is it? Say he set up a snitch line during COVID. So Kyle,
yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He definitely set up a snitch line, which is another thing. He's definitely that was a chat I was talking about. He was he's a Zionist. And he's also an authoritarian, Tim Walz. And then Kyle acts like he isn't.
About his incredibly restrictive perspective on social freedoms. Tim Walz talks about freedom all the time. What did Trump do? He picked J.D. Vance, guy who said, I want to ban...
Except for the snitch line COVID, which Kyle didn't mention too as well. It's another thing that we just discussed. That's not freedom. That's the opposite of freedom. It just is. You can whine about it all you want, but that's the opposite of freedom. Yeah. And also the mask mandates and also all the other stuff that liberals loved at the time. Oh, and by the way, because I'm on YouTube, make sure you get your vaccine. All your vaccines, get them all, because they're all great and they all work, according to your medical experts. And I'm scheduled next week for my appointment for my booster. Make sure you got all your boosters, too, by the way.
Yeah.
And porn. A guy who said, I want to outright ban all abortion. Their Project 2025 is a total giveaway to fucking billionaires. Screws over working people. In Project 2025, they ban stuff like overtime pay for workers. So again, I'm not sitting here. I don't want to sit here and make comparisons to authoritarian dictators or Kim Jong-un. But if you're going to make a comparison, it way, way more fits on Trump than it does on Tim Walz. It's not even fucking close.
Yeah, Steph says he's also a pussy when it came to fighting the military. Kyle likes authoritarians. Look at his wife. So, yeah, I mean, he likes left-wing authoritarianism. That's what he likes. Like Tim Walz, like the Tim Walz snitch line on COVID. He's fine with that. And the reason why I know he's lying is he did it before. He did it with Marianne Williamson. He complained about an article that Politico put out about how Marianne Williamson is a psycho and that, she fires her staff and drives them to quit and cry and stuff. And he says a lie. She would never do that. It turns out she has a history of doing this because back in 1992, People's Magazine wrote an article about her saying the same exact thing. And Kyle hid that from his audience and lied about it. So, there's a little bit more.
So, swing and a miss to say the least, man. It's a real shame. It's a real shame because, again, Joe supported Bernie Sanders. All of the things he liked in Bernie Sanders are there in Tim Walz. The only difference is...
And he supported Tulsi Gabbard. I think he supported Tulsi more than he did Bernie. So Kyle won't believe that as well.
Yeah, he did in 2016. He said that he liked Bernie.
Yeah,
and then by 2020s, he kind of switched over to Tulsi, even though he said he still liked Bernie. So,
Tim Walz is actually better at the game of politics, better at PR and marketing and strategy.
What does that mean? Better at the game of politics? That means better at lying. That's what that means. He's better at the game of politics. Bernie was too honest, ladies, and that's what Kyle is saying. He's too honest. He didn't have charisma. He was too honest about his policies, which is why he lost. Tim Walz wouldn't lose because he's good at lying and he has some charisma.
And giving stump speeches. Bernie would only talk about the policies, which is beautiful in one sense, but in another sense, it's like sometimes you got to have some fun. Sometimes you got to play the game. Sometimes you have to give people something that can go viral, something that's cutesy and has humor to it. And that's Tim Walz. All the good parts of Bernie's policies, plus better at politics. And what does he get for
When
it?
he says better at politics, again, he's mean better at lying and better at bullshitting people. That's what he means. But yeah, this is, this enough of this for now.
Well,
But
so before we move on, I just want to play. It was a video it's a video that I made from Do This One's video. They were talking about progressive falling in line. I made a edit when they were talking about Kyle Kalinske. I'll share.
as long as no music, it's fine.
No, there's no music.
Okay.
I'll share the screen in a second. Let me just bring up the video.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Kyle Kalinske.
Okay, so let me just share the screen. Let's see. Okay. Did I do it correct? I don't know if I did.
Just go to the tab where you want it to go.
Okay,
it should pop up.
Okay, there we go.
Or redo it again.
So let's see.
You would have to go. Let me see to go to Chrome tab or go to the tab where your browser is. It should say.
Yeah, no, I'm at the tab. I'm at the tab, but it's not showing the Restream site for whatever reason. Unless if I can just go to Window and then press Live, would that work?
Or send me the link in private chat, and then I'll play it here.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have the clip saved. It's in one of my.
It's saved. Oh, okay. So you can't do that.
It's weird. I don't know why it's not. Let me see. Let me see if I can click Window. Let me see if I can click. And
okay.
Let's see if it works. Let's see. Nope. Still not. Damn it. Okay. Let me see. This is weird.
Yeah, I'm sad that I took him seriously too. I did at one point. I swore by Kyle Kalinske at one point years ago, especially when he was supporting back when he had hair and proper hair and dressed well. Kuklinski is a real shame. Yep. Let's see. Kyle won't talk about Agenda 2030.
So what if I sent you what if I sent you my clip in one messaged you on Twitter? Would you be able to show it?
Yeah. If it's a link, I can show it. That'll work better.
Well, not a link, but just okay. Maybe I'll send you a clip. Maybe I'll post it and tag your name in it.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Yeah, you can post it, and I could see it on X. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Definitely make sure you.
Let me give me a second.
Thank you, Abby, for that. Yeah, make sure you give me a like, share, and subscribe. I'll be putting out some clips throughout the week. I need to do that. Actually, put out clips. I need to. Let me go on my Twitter page. Hold on. Or X page, whatever the hell it's called now.
I just call it Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I call it Twitter too.
Has to load a little bit, but
Okay, well, I'm just
it's 5.5 minute videos, so it's gonna load.
Yeah.
But for now, you can, while it's loading, you can mention what you were.
We all made mistakes in taking these fools seriously. It happens. Yeah, it does. So I'm not exactly, beating myself up too much over that, but yeah, I take that L too, that I took Kyle seriously.
Yeah.
Not only the Kyle did that 5-minute thing defending Tim Walz, but it gets worse. I'm not gonna play it, but I'm gonna show you. Where is it? Major campaign blow, campaign hacked.
Yeah, Kyle was probably the first one I watched for politics back in 2016.
Here we go. It's this one. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna share my screen here.
And yeah, he's just been such a disappointment.
Right here. He spends another 13 minutes debunking every Tim Walz smear crashes and burns. Like, he literally spends another 13
Look at that.
minutes.
Kamala dropped stunning new border ad. What the fuck?
He definitely defends Kamala Harris on that ad. I've watched a bunch of this. I haven't watched him in months, but I started watching it. I knew that I was going to cover the PMC media being completely in the tank of Kamala.
Defends Kamala Harris on the border.
He basically says,
nuts?
he basically claims, he basically is going to claim in that video, well, I don't agree with her policy proposals, but it is good politics because most Americans want, a stronger border. So this is the video I was talking about here. It's like every Tim Walz smear crashes and burns. And I want to focus on one thing in particular. Because, yeah, he talks about, where is it? The military smear. Oh shit, my battery's dying. But yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap up in a few. So, but yeah, he says, yeah, I have enough where I can finish up, but I'm just so just send me that clip when you have it. Where is it?
It's halfway done.
Okay. Well, I still have a few more minutes.
Oh wait, actually, it's just about. I think it's just about finished.
Okay. There's the military, alleged military smear. Again, I got to sit back because I know that I'm cracking.
All right, I just tagged you and I sent you the clip.
Okay, no, they get rid of that because that's not that important, anyways. Let's see. Snorky says I worked very hard for Bernie. I did too. We all did here for the most part in this space. All right, let me see.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's play this, and we'll probably wrap up here. Do Dissidents. By the way, go like and subscribe to them because they're great. They're. Whoops. Let me try to actually share my screen. Again, I always don't share my screen, and then. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Now let's play the shit. Yeah. By the way, like and subscribe to Do Dissidents. They have good stuff there.
Linsky, August 6th, right after the Walz announcement. Let's fucking go.
Hey,
let's
you didn't
fucking
mention
go.
my queen, Marianne.
No, he didn't. Kamala objectively made the best possible pick. Look at that policy dog. We're so back. Policy record here. The universe.
That, yeah, Steph says that Jimmy went live. He starts blowing Trump him out. He has Alex Jones and Kid set the show. Yeah, I know Kid didn't do his live stream today, his Patreon stream and whatever, because he was going to the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, shove a tampon up your ass. Free school meal, legal weed, carbon-free electricity, tax rebates, paid family leave, paid sick leave, banned conversion therapy, red flag laws for guns. This is the liberal wish list. Horrible, says Kyle Kolinsky. Oh, just yesterday we were on board. Now you put us through this. Yep. All she had to do was say, I hear you. When I'm president, we'll have a permanent ceasefire. We're going to stop the war and bring peace. At least half of Democrats think Israel is committing a genocide. Act like it. Translation, why couldn't you just bullshit? Yep. Why couldn't you just bullshit?
That's exactly what that's the translation that Kyle always said. Why don't you do a better job of bullshitting?
That's why I can keep bullshitting my viewers.
Yep.
Right?
And as many people keep on pointing out, well, you're the vice president now.
Right.
Why you do it now? She's stealing, Trump's idea about the tips. I got to look into whether this is true. There's been a meme going around that she was the deciding vote on empowering the IRS to go after tips. I have to look into whether that's true. But at the very least, hey, man, you think it's such a good idea. Why don't you do it now? Why do people have to wait? Do these things now. Why don't you do a ceasefire now? And we, as we saw in our last show, literally the same day that she said they're working around the clock for a ceasefire, they committed to another $3.5 billion in aid to Israel, military aid.
Kamala's shocking after new Gaza protests. So Kyle came out and made a video reacting to this. We're going to play a little bit of this.
Well, I respect your voices, but we are here to now talk about this race in 2024.
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts. First of all, let's state the obvious. That is so much better than what she did the first time.
So much.
I mean, that was
so much better, guys.
A breath of fresh air compared to her first reaction, where she basically accused the people of...
So much better. I love it. It's so much better, man. It's like so great. I get to lie to you guys some more. I get to, make more money because I support Kamala. I can now bullshit you better.
Wanting Trump to win and said, yeah, if you want Trump to win, then go
Much
ahead
better
and keep
bullshit
protesting
this
for
time.
Gaza. It's
Much
like,
smoother line of bullshit.
Jesus Christ, that's dark. That's such a dark reaction.
That's so mean.
So this is
that's so mean.
You don't
I'm
have
a nice
to
guy.
mean it.
I'm not a mean guy.
You just have to say it.
Right. You just have to be nice. You have to say it nicely. You can't be mean. I'm not mean. My brand is nice. Don't be mean. Be nice. You don't have to mean it, but be nice.
Let me speak to that real quick. I know you guys are concerned about this. I am too.
Yeah.
We got to get a ceasefire. We got to get a
Yeah.
ceasefire.
Oh,
We got to
yeah.
bring the hostage.
No. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the right
Yes.
reaction.
They're gonna bring
That's
a
the right
ceasefire.
reaction. The
Yeah.
one part I didn't like is that he said, "Oh, me and the president have been working on this," and it's like, Joe Biden is not interested in a ceasefire.
Oh, so
And neither is Kamala.
the one part I didn't like is that it's total bullshit.
She is.
So the
She is.
one part I
It-
didn't like about this is that she says we've been working on a ceasefire when it's clear the president is not determined to get a ceasefire. So everything was great except for the fact that she was full of shit. In fact, except for the fact that she was full of garbage, it was great. It was perfect.
Then the question remains about Kamala. When she says we need a ceasefire and we need to bring the hostages home, does she mean it in the Biden way of ceasefire? Or does she mean it in the sincere pro-Palestine protester way of ceasefire?
What?
And look, that's yet to be seen.
Okay, well, if that's yet to be seen,
That
then
is
how
Why did you
on
support
earth
him?
could you
Or
support
her?
her candidacy? If you don't know what she means by ceasefire, how on earth could you be shilling for her this hard because of fucking Tim Walz? It
such a
makes no
fantastic
sense.
moron.
It makes no sense if you give.
You're such a fantastic moron. I love Norman Finkelstein. He's great. But oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna finish off this clip real quick and then we'll wrap up. But yes, tomorrow we'll be back for Pro Wrestling Talk at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So look forward to that. We have a lot to talk about since we were out last week because Steph had a graduation party to attend.
You give a shit. What are you talking about? Yeah, we don't know what she means by that. Okay, so you don't know what you mean by that, then stop supporting her. Stop supporting. It's that simple.
He won't.
How
He
you
needs the
can
money.
make a living as a so-called progressive political commentator and be wooed back into supporting Kamala Harris because Tim Walz passed free school lunch. Come on, man. That is a bunch of fucking bullshit. That's just fucking bullshit. And you know it's bullshit. I know you know. I believe these people see these images and they feel pain. I believe that's why Kyle endorsed Jill Stein to begin with. What do you think? He wanted to do that? It was too much at one point. Why is it not too much anymore? Why? You're really going to fall for this fucking Tim Walz bullshit? I mean, are you serious? Are you serious? This inspired my meme. That says it all right there.
Progressive.
Says it all right there. And that goes back to the very beginning when Greenwald says online left liberals already extracted all the value there is to get from feigning anger over Gaza. Well, it sure seems that way.
They're going to profit
They
massively.
exactly fortified their radical brand, profited for traffic. Exactly. That's it. And now they see their best grift is to go pretend that this represents a shift in policy. So they're
Because
going
it
to
doesn't.
the next grift, which, I mean, it's really disgusting.
Yep. And I was going to, well said, and go like and subscribe to them. They're great. But yeah, like I was going to say before we go, it's just ridiculous. You know, it's just, they took, basically, it's easy to do this. I could do this if I wanted to. Like, you know what, guys? I officially support Kamala Harris. Vote for Kamala Harris. Vote for Tim Walz. And, you know, please like and subscribe to my channel. And I guarantee you my channel would go from whatever subscribers I have to a few thousand before the election. Because I'm supporting a candidate. It's easy. It's easy to do that. It's easy to grow a channel that way. But I don't do that because I'm actually principled, and I'm not going to do that, even if it costs me subscribers, and even it might be easier to do what these guys do. Kyle and Crystal, the Young Turks, fucking Majority Report dude, Sam Cedar, the Humanist Report, I forget his name. The yes, that dude. He blocked me on Twitter. I haven't seen him in a while, so I forget about him. David Dole, that dude, he's blocked me too, but I think that's the only ones I can think of right now. But all those fuckers, they all profit off of this stuff. So that's my last thoughts. We're going to wrap up here. My battery's just about dead. So That'll do it for this episode, Angel in the Afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I've still got to perfect this arm and where to put it exactly because I'm pretty sure I'm just getting too close. So that's why it's staticky. But hopefully this is the perfect distance, but we'll see. I'll definitely get Steph on that tomorrow to tell me what the perfect distance is. But I digress. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share the content. Jesse Jet and has INN clip show of his show coming up at 10:30 Eastern. So you like his music, go check that out tonight at 10:30 on the INN channel. So stay with us as we're going to get to that too. And last thoughts. Abby blocking is such a bitch move. Oh yeah, it is. I don't block many people. But yeah, so make sure you watch Jesse Jet's clip show at 10:30 on the INN channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to INN's channel and to my channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. There it is right there. My name, Angel Rivera08 or Angel J Rivera08. Make sure you follow Alex on Twitter too, Alex Knight 91 or _91. And that'll do it. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night for Wrestling Talk. If not, I'll see you guys next Friday for Angel in the Afternoon. Oh, by the way, one more thing before you go. August 30th is the Angel in the Afternoon right before my birthday on the 31st. Hopefully you can make it, Alex, because that'd be cool. I'm hoping Steph can make it too. And I've met a few other people hanging around. So we'll see if you can make it or not. But hoping that you can make it. Well,